Hello there YouTube, just a quick video here on my fruit machine that I bought off eBay. When I first tested it I thought everything was okay. The guy who I bought it off did say there was a fault with it, that it wasn't lighting up, but when I got it home and tested it, it all seemed fine. Ran it for a couple of well, at least 20 odd minutes and it all seemed fine. But then I went to power it on another day and it wouldn't do anything, not lighting up, not doing anything. The only thing that was happening was that these red LEDs here would light up, and that was pretty much it. So I decided to take the board out to have a quick look, and looking around as you do, and I found a couple of things wrong with it. Whether or not these are affecting the overall issue, I won't know until I try and rectify the problems, and yeah, and take it from there really. But basically, what was happening was that when it was powering up and it was working, the odds on it were just crazy. I won like 87 quid on it in like my first few goes, so the odds were well off. But I just put that down to the fact is that maybe someone had altered the odds on it. And the other fault was that I had to set this card here on this expansion slot is the sound side of it. And what was happening was, as soon as I plugged it in, it would, like a cannon would fire really loud, and it would just keep repeating. So I took this card out and it stopped the sound, and it actually started playing really well, but it was on free play. I put the card back in, and then it started to work, and it changed itself from free play to coins. But I'd put coins in and nothing would happen. But I just put this down to sound issue, and I was quite happy to not have the sound in, so took the soundboard off, played on it for a while, seemed fine, and then the odds on it were really easy to win every time. So yeah, left it, then came back to it a couple of days later, and it would not work. So if I would have known there was a fault, I would have shown you the fault of what was actually going off before I took the board out. But I didn't realise I was going to find any faults with the board until I took it out. So unfortunately, I can't show the video of the faults that it was displaying, but it was literally sounds. When the soundboard was on, it would do a firing sound and the odds basically, and that was about it. But on inspection, the board, I mean, that it was made in '99 and it is in really good nick. The cab, which I'll add on the video afterwards, the repair, once I've done the repairs on it, I'll install the board and I'll show you. But the cab itself is in really good condition, really well taken care of. So yeah, I wasn't really expecting to find anything. The bloke who I bought it off, like I mentioned, did say it did have a fault, but when I got it home it seemed fine. But it wasn't until I took the board out that I actually found what faults were. Now, the first fault that I found was, if you look along here, all them are all good until you get to this one. I don't know if the camera can quite capture it, but if you look, you can see that the block is actually separated off the contact and is actually splitting off. So that, yeah, you can get it a lot better at that angle, but yeah, you can see it's actually splitting off. So that transistor MOSFET needs to come out and be replaced, which is quite easy. These ones are all the same, and even on this one you can still see the markings on it to say that, to tell me what rating it is, and I can easily get all of them. They're like 25p, really cheap, from my local electrical store in Derby City Centre, which is called Potts. Really good place to go if anyone's from Derby in the East Midlands. And scanning around the board, all looks good. This module here is the actual game itself, the EPROM chip, which controls the game. So this motherboard is a generic motherboard, and then I assume that you put the sound in for whatever game you've got, and the memory board. And if we come across, I'll just find the label on it, if I can find the label. Don't know if the camera's going to be able to zoom into that, but on that it says up your rigging on this label here. I think it's probably a bit too dark for it. Try and move it, see if we get some light on it. If the camera's going to focus. No, it's not going to quite focus, but it does say up your rigging on it. And on the other board, that says up your rigging sound. On this, it says up your rigging. So I just imagined that would be the actual game, and this is the sound. Like I said, I took this board off, and the game still ran fine. So yeah, looked around the board. Like I said, all what happened is these LEDs would light up, and then I was looking around, and as we can see right there, if the camera focuses in, is a burnt out resistor, completely disintegrated. Now checked everything else out, everything seems fine. No bulging caps, no other burnt out resistors, and everything seems okay. And the problem I've got is that, as you can or cannot tell, is that is completely fried, and I can't see what rating it is. So that's my problem I've got at the minute. I'm going to take it out and see if I can maybe see any marks on it or anything like that, to see if I can decipher which one it is. If not, then maybe internet, see if I can find the engineer's manual for the board. If not, see if I can find a picture of the board and see if I can make out what resistor that is. So I'll take the resistor and MOSFET out, and I'll because obviously I can't do it with one hand, I'll have to take it out, and then I'll put the video, add on to the video on with both components out. So see you in a sec. Okay guys, I've now taken out the transistor MOSFET, and that's pretty much all that was left of it. I don't know if the camera could pick it up, but it's just got on all the settings that I need to know that it is the one that I need to get, which is quite good. There's another piece of it, the back piece. Don't know how that's managed to get like that. It's not burnt or anything, so I can only assume that something's hit it, you know. But as you can see, there's no damage around two of the MOSFETs or anything. I've checked them all out and they're all fine. So hopefully it's just an isolated incident and it's fine, or it's just got brittle over time, because obviously these do heat up, so maybe that might have been it, who knows. And the resistor, what have we done with it? There it is. There's a resistor there. Now this was an absolute pain in the backside. I could not believe it. I've never seen a resistor like this before, but you can just tell where the resistor was that it's a different green to the rest of the board. Now, for whatever reason, I don't know, is it was a trace running from the hole back to this point here, and then to the try, because it's a double-sided board, so it ran to the trace right underneath it. And obviously I didn't know that, and you could probably just make out there's the trace there, the copper trace on the end of the resistor, which is an absolute pig, but it's no big deal, because what I can do is just make a trace up from the hole down to there, so it's not a big deal. Obviously the still main problem that I've got is that that is completely black. There's no identification markers, there's no nothing, and I've googled all over the internet and nothing. I've got a couple of images, but they're very low res, so I can't make out what rating that resistor is. So what I'm going to try and do is, I don't know if this is the right way, I mean I'm completely self-taught electrician. I only do this as a bit of a hobby, and the fruit machine was going into
my man cave to go with me arcade machine and my pool table. So just down to pure elimination is that a lot of these resistors are all the same. They're all these 2200K resistors. So I'm just going to have to go for it. I've looked on forums, I've looked on the internet, spent a few hours looking, and no joy and no help. So case of it, if it's bust, it's bust, and if it's not, it's not. So I'll get one of these resistors tomorrow as well as the MOSFET, and then I'll put it in, and then we'll see what we are. So then I'll finish this video off and we'll put the board in and see what happens. Okay guys, just finished the repair now on the motherboard for the fruit machine. There's the contact there that I've just replaced, the MOSFET microtransistor, and this is a repair that I've done on the resistor. The bottom pin went nowhere, and it actually had a trace going to this point here. So what I did was with the excess leg that you got on the resistor, I just got it through the hole and bent it over. Now I don't know how it's happened, but the whole entire of the contact there has been lifted, but I managed to get a really good solder on this, so it's really sturdy, it's not going nowhere. I've continuity tested it and it all seems fine, so let's put it back in the fruit machine and see what happens. Okay guys, the main board's all in. This is now, I'll just step back a bit so you can see this is inside the fruit machine. There's the motherboard there. Here's the power switch. Let's see what happens. It's not blown up yet. Oh.
Demonstration mode.
Huh. See what's happening around the front. Okay, it's all lighting up. It seems like it's in some sort of, as it said, demonstration mode. Getting a lot more sound than I was getting before. Was nowhere near making as much noise as this before. But as you can see, it's come up with credit straight away. So I think someone must have changed it to a free play mode or something, which is what it was doing before. But before, it didn't say anything about a demonstration mode. No, happy days, it all seems to be working fine. This whole lot look really nice. Sounds are really crisp. Yeah, happy days. Seems to be getting a lot of nudges.
Land ahoy!
That's in. Oh, lost. But yeah, all seems good. So